One of the biggest things, and Joe, as you know, it's all about risk. It's all about risk and growth opportunity, right? So one of the things we want to do is we want to remove as much as possible the risk to a buyer to come in and buy your company. Well, one of the biggest ways to do that is you personally. We have to get you out of the equation as much as humanly possible. So what do I mean by that? We want to remove the dependency on you, the owner, for the company to be successful and profitable. Otherwise, when we buy the business, what are we buying? You're somebody that comes in, if you're dependent on it, that's a huge risk because everything is going, you're so involved in this company, you're critical to the operations. It's really hard to remove you without me incurring a lot of risk if I buy it and you're running the company. And so I like to think of it as like a wheel. A business is like a wheel. Okay, so you have the wheel here on the tire, and in the middle you have the hub and you have the spokes of a wheel, right? Well, if you're the hub and the seller, the owner of the business is the hub, that means the business doesn't operate without you, right? If I pull you out, and that's what happened, small businesses or businesses that have a lot of high owner dependency, if you pull that owner out, well, guess what happens? The wheel falls apart, right? The spokes fall apart. Well, so what we want to do ahead of time, before you even think about selling this business, is we pull you out and replace you with a business operating system, an SOP, KPIs, everything. It's a corporate structure feel from that standpoint, such that the business runs without you. That's number one. That's perhaps the most important thing. And number two is financials and accounting. Okay. I can't tell you how many deals we look at where they're great. They look like they're great, but the financials are so bad. Number one, you got to have clean accounting. If it's not easy for us to interpret the financials and really determine the profit of the company, so you have the revenue, right? And then you have the profit. If it's not easy for us to determine what the profit is from the revenue and really show through a quality of earnings how much profit you're taking in, which sounds like, oh, you should be able to do, but if there's some funny bookkeeping going on out there, let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
And so a lot of people, what they end up doing is, what do we do as business owners? We try to hide our income because we don't want to pay what?
Taxes.
We don't want to pay taxes, right? So it's very common that you have a company that, maybe makes you $1 million, but you then go and you add back all your expenses. We hide this and hide that. And then on our taxes, we show zero income. Well, guess what? No one's going to lend on that. All the lenders look at your 1020 on that company or the taxes for the company and your personal. And if it's not there, now we have to it's very hard to do. Very, very hard to do. So you've restricted the people that can buy your company to someone who either is a cash buyer, which is not going to be very common in a small company, or B, you have to do seller finance. And now you're taking a lot of risk. Right? So financials, clean up the accounting 2 years in advance and stop doing the add backs. I know it's going to make you a little bit less money for a couple of years, but it'll make you far more in the long run when we start looking at those multiples. Some other couple things, just, those are the two main things. By far and large, those are the two main things. A couple things that we want to do, we want to maximize recurring revenue. For every dollar of profit of recurring revenue, that's worth a lot more than a dollar of non-recurring revenue, right? So what does that look like? If you're an HVAC company and you get all of your business by one-time sales, what can you do to transition that to a contract, a recurring contract model, right? What you can do that on commercial, you can do that on residential. So there's a number of levers we can pull there. Other things to think about. We have to make sure the customer concentration risk is less than 20% for any single customer. Right? So again, we just looked at one the other day. One of my M&A advisors and I looked at a company, and on paper, it looks fantastic. But one of their clients is 60% of their revenue and profit. So,
ouch.
What do you do with that? It's not worth anything, right? Very, very, very little. So yeah, and it's advertised for just like it's a normal company with a good, distribution of clients, right? Well, obviously it's not. That's not the case. So there's a number of other things that we want to look at. The main things are, is there a solid growth strategy in place? And then the management team, are they solid? And that kind of goes hand in hand with making sure that there's no owner dependency. Things like cleaning up margin, everything we can do there. So those are just, really high level, Joe, some of the things that we want to look at when we prepare that business for maximum enterprise value.